Welcome to the Forsyth Magazines podcast. I'm Brooke Eagle, your host, bringing you the stories of the people shaping our community. From business owners to local leaders, we'll explore their journeys, passions, and lessons learned. Let's dive in. Hey guys, we are back with another podcast episode, and today I have two very special guests. I have Lewis and Ashton. They are with the Swicegood Group, and we're going to talk about all things real estate and estate auctions, and I'm so excited to have them on. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, doing great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we also have another special guest in the corner.
Two of them.
Yes, I got
Two
my
of them.
beautiful wife and my newborn son.
How old is he now?
4 weeks tomorrow.
Oh, how's newborn life?
Oh gosh, it's not terrible. I'm the sleep.
Not terrible.
The sleep.
I was about to say, how's newborn sleep?
For me, it's getting better. Kayla,
Bring it all the way down.
hit or miss, but I'd say we're trending in the right direction of getting that rhythm in life again.
I love it. Well, he is perfect. Are you excited to be an aunt?
I am, yes. I'm a little nephew of the second nephew now, and I've got two of my own too. So it does get better, but also you have a 3-year-old that will walk into your bedroom in the middle of the night. So that's something to look forward to.
So it never ends.
No.
I love it. So I want to talk about all things Swicegood Group, and I want you individually to kind of introduce yourselves and talk about what got you into this business in the first place. So ladies first.
Okay. Our family, this is our family auction company. We've established this in 2010. So we started our company in 2010. Our father started the Swicegood Group in 1993, I think, or 95. But for me personally, so I went to Appalachian State. I went for communications and marketing, and my goal was to go into sports. I wanted to be in sports marketing. So after college, I kind of went that route and tried it out, and I realized I didn't want to commingle my love for sports and make it my job.
That can like make the passion kind of like go away out of something.
Yeah, it was very taxing, like just a lot of hours that I was just like, I'd rather just sit and watch the game and be a fan. So after that, I was like, I don't really know what to do with my life, and our parents didn't never force us or nudge us in the direction of the family business, but. After they started the auction company in 2010, I kind of was intrigued and decided, I guess a year after I graduated from college, I was like, you know what, I'll just try to get my real estate license and maybe my auction license and see where I can go from there. But anyway, so I ended up doing that, and that was almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
And so Lewis and I went to Nashville Auction School together and about 10 years ago, and haven't looked back. I love it. It's an awesome business. It's different,
That's awesome.
but it's fun. It's
How
awesome.
many years apart are y'all?
We are 22 months, so almost 2 years.
Oh, wow. So like almost Irish twins.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Very cool. So what about you, Lewis?
So, I mean, obviously echoing what she said about the origins of our family business. For me, I grew up, in Davie County. I was big into hunting, fishing, outdoors activities. I ended up wanting to do the military path. So I went to...
I didn't know that.
Yep. I went to Marion Military Institute in Alabama, which is how I became a University of Alabama fan. But I didn't go to the University of Alabama. So I was in Marion, Alabama for if I remember correctly, I was there for a year and a half. I was going the commissioning route. I did 2 stints at Fort Knox for training. And after the second stint, I just kind of realized that it didn't feel like it was the right path for me. So I decided to forego that. I left. I went to Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary undergraduate program. I was not trying to be a pastor. I just wanted to go to that particular school. My goal was to be a teacher. I wanted to teach history. I love history. I'm all about history. But for me, it's just after a while, I just realized, okay, I don't really want to. I like to talk about history. Teaching just doesn't really fit my purview. So at that point, I went back home, was kind of spinning my wheels a little bit, and then I got my auctioneer license. And then a few years later, and it took a lot of effort because I'm not a great test taker, but I finally passed my real estate exam, and now I'm working with the Swicegood Group with my parents and my sister in real estate and personal property assets.
Awesome. So both of y'all's parents work in the business too?
Yes. So they, like I said, they started in 2010, the Swicegood Group auction side. And but they both worked for Century 21. Well, a couple companies. They worked for Swicegood and McDaniel for a while. They worked for Century 21, so they kept changing the franchise name. But so our dad got his license in '91, and our mom got her license in '99.
Oh,
so
I love that.
They we've been in this world for ever.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're sitting in it now. But when we were in high school and kind of doing our own thing, taking our own path, I was like, I am never gonna work in the family business. But I'm so glad that I do.
That was my next question. I was gonna say, I think that's true a lot of the times where kids are like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that. There's
That's what
no
you
way.
said.
That's what I said
Yeah.
too. Yeah. My dad also owned his own business, and my brother said the same thing, and he actually did not go with the family business, but my dad just didn't want him to with all the body shop world of cars. It's just different. But that's really cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about working with family? Because you guys, it's not just like brother, sister, parent. It's all four of y'all in the same
It is.
business.
You can start.
Okay. Well, I guess we're all really close. So I know some people or some families that work together, which I wouldn't say we do butt heads sometimes. That's normal life. But just being around each other all the time. I mean, we have kids now, so involving our kids, in the business throughout, bringing them to the office and seeing, Poppy and Izzy is always
Poppy
fun.
and Izzy,
Poppy and
I love
Izzy are
that.
their names. Yep. And so I'll bring my kids to the office. They're 2 and 3. And we have a gallery at our office, so we do monthly consignment auctions as well. So in the back,
I did not know that.
so we have a very large, I think it's a 5,000 square foot building. So we have it upstairs and downstairs.
And where is that located?
Downtown Moxville.
Okay.
And so the top level, we'll rotate. So we'll have the top level of items that we're selling, and then we'll have the bottom level, and then we'll rotate monthly whenever we get more items to sell from people. But I'll bring my children. And my son Braxton, he is obsessed with the gallery. I mean, he'll walk through. He goes, "Can I see the toys? Can I see the toys?" I'm like, "You can see the toys, but like, don't touch anything. These are being
That's
sold."
the big one.
And he goes, "Mommy, can we buy these
All the
things,
toys?
all the toys?" And I'm like, "Maybe we'll see." But so we love I love taking them to the office and letting them look. But I'm not at the office very much. I work from home a lot, which is also just a great option because I do have 2 kids at home. So it's just a great gig all around for me to be a stay-at-home mom, but also be a businesswoman.
Yeah. So Lewis, I know you are like an amazing auctioneer. I've got to see you live in action 2 times now. Tell us that auctions, they're fast-paced, they're intense. How do you kind of prepare for that energy of an event?
Oh gosh, I will say this: as your years go by in the auction business, especially when you're calling bids, the bid calling is a small portion of what we do. We do benefit auctions. We're primarily real estate, personal property, but when it comes to the actual bid call chant, getting up on stage, getting through that fear, because there's always, and even now, there's fear. You could talk to a championship auctioneer, like my dad was a state champion, and he'll tell you, like, you get up on stage, you're going to get the giddies and the fear. But I think for one, it's just going through your rhythm, going through your bid chant, focusing on. I love to do tongue twisters.
Oh, can you do one for us? I love when you do this.
I got you. So this particular tongue twister is called Betty Botter. It goes, Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So it's better, Betty Botter, bit of better butter, bit of better butter. And,
oh my gosh.
And you do that, and it loosens the tongue. It gets you in a flow. Because bid calling is all about rhythm. If you have a good rhyme to it, it makes the bid calling a lot faster. My dad always said that smooth is fast and fast is slow. If you try to go fast...
We say that in CrossFit too.
It's true though. Honestly, that's a great comparison. If you rush a lift, you're just adding more chance to make mistakes. Same thing with your bid chant. If you go super fast, all you're going to do is end up, whoops, I said the wrong number. That's embarrassing. It's happened before. You just have to misfire, fix it, and go on to the next thing. But man, I love the bid chant because it's really, what other form of selling do you get to communicate so well with your sellers? You get to, it's clear and transparent, it's open. For example, I got a guy over here. He'd have been at 5,000. He would have been 5,500. I would have been 5,000. Now 6 would have been 6,000, and so on and so forth. And I've seen it happen at benefit auctions. You'll get these 2 buyers who will lock eyes. And suddenly it becomes a competition.
Oh yeah.
Okay, who can who's willing to rip that Velcro wallet open a little bit more and get the dollars going.
Well, and it's live auctions are just so much fun to watch. I say this all the time, but I'm so burnt out of silent auctions. I'm like, please, can we do a live auction? It's fun, it's engaging. The whole crowd gets involved, even if you're not actively bidding. It's just a fun thing to watch. Okay, so back to I know mostly you do the estate auctions. Do you have something that comes to mind that is the most like surprising, unique, unexpected item that you have auctioned off before?
Man, there are so many. This particular auction, this was actually one of our consignment auctions. So we deal with a lot of collectibles as well. We had a guy who, if if my memory serves me correctly, he was liquidating his. He had a lot of stuff. He was just downsizing, and he had a huge Star Wars collection. I mean,
wow.
From the 70s. It was a mixture of the 70s Star Wars and the modern Star Wars. But he had in the original boxes, so many toys. The planes and the characters. He had one particular one that we did some research on, and it was a character that was supposed to appear in the movie, but at the last minute they cut the scenes. So they only made 500 of them. So this little, we're talking an action figure this big. I can't remember what it went for, but I'll put it this way. It went for a lot more than what you think it would be worth.
Yeah.
But every estate is so unique because you really get to learn about what people collect.
Yeah.
I've seen baseball card collections,
Hot Wheel. We've done the Hot Wheel recently.
We've done Hot Wheel. I was actually mentioned this in the article, Hummels. Ashton and I did a huge Hummel collection where we walked into this gentleman's house, and in two different rooms, from ceiling to the floor, boxes of these little figurines.
Wow.
They're these German handmade figurines. I don't know if you've ever heard of Hummel.
I have not.
We didn't have the time either. And we put them in our trailer and we drove them to our gallery. And how many were there? Maybe 5,000?
There had to have been 5,000.
So we cataloged every one because they're worth a lot.
Yeah.
So we individually
that's insane.
cataloged
so
them.
much research.
A lot of research. I
bet.
Labor.
Yeah. How do you even go about that research process? Because I know they say, I don't know who they is, but they say things will be on you'll see on eBay a Beanie Baby listed for $8,000, but it's not going to sell for $8,000. So how do you navigate what to actually?
I'm glad you brought up the eBay thing because we deal with that a lot where people will say, I've seen X listed on eBay for X amount of dollars. Now, typically, from my experience, eBay it can be a little the number that is listed is a little high.
Yeah.
Whereas auctions, I always say the beautiful thing about an auction is we start low and go high, as opposed to start high and go low. I feel like if you list an item, for example, and the same goes for real estate. If you list an item at a high dollar value, all you're going to have is people saying, well, can you do less?
Yeah.
With an auction, you flip that on its head. You start low and go up.
Yeah.
And I love that part of the auction process because, and correct me, I want to make sure I say this right, when bidders compete, sellers win. That's that's one of our mantras. When bidders compete, the seller wins.
And even for real estate,
yeah,
which is crazy.
Sure.
We'll tell our clients, we'll say, we were starting this at $1.
Yeah.
Even the real estate, even a $1 million mansion, we started at $1, but that will bring in everybody and their mother to register and bid on our auctions, and that's just what gets the ball rolling to the competitive bidding and stacking that up to actually market value.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you guys deal with this all the time, but there's such an emotional side of selling both homes and things, and people kind of tend to think that their homes, their stuff is more valuable than it actually is. So how do you kind of navigate those emotions with your clients?
Research,
and just on the real estate side, just making sure that you have the right client to fit our auction method and make sure that they have realistic expectations. So we're not just going to take every listing just to take a listing. We do our research. I'll do comparative market analysis and say, in this past 6 months in this proximity of your house, these similar characteristics to your house, this is what the market is showing. Yeah. And I just go off of, my research and the data that it presents, and I say,
data doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't lie. And so, sometimes it will have to bring them down a little bit off of their expectation of their emotional attachment because it's mom and dad's house and they grew up in this house. And so, we we don't take that lightly. I understand it. It's their family's home and everything, and it's an emotional decision because sometimes it's a deceased mom or dad. But anyway, we just bring that data to the table and make sure that their real expectations meet our data.
Yeah. I think that's a good answer. And I think it seems clear just by chatting with both of you and from what I know about Lewis that the main reason that y'all do this is to help people.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of the basis of the business, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're problem solvers.
I believe in, especially when you're dealing with a deceased estate, like when I come in and talk to them, and this is just who I am as a person, and you've probably seen this through me at the gym. I'm a people person. I love to talk to people. I've never met a stranger I didn't want to talk to. That's just who I am as a person. It benefits me in this business. But I've been in those rooms with these family members, and I mean, without trying to get emotional, I just recently lost my grandfather last year, and I, in a way, I can relate to the feeling of losing a loved one, and it is difficult, especially when you for a lot of these family members, you're walking into this house and you're just seeing all these, like, oh, this is where I built the tree house, and this is the pond that we caught all these fish in, or this is the land that we grew up on, and there is an emotional attachment to there, and from that emotional attachment, it can equate to dollar value because this is what to some people it's priceless, and I understand that. I mean, I look at where I grew up, and to me that those memories are priceless. But you do have to. I look at it this way: you're in a situation where you have a property you're not living in, it's just sitting there. And it can, for all you know, it could be depreciating based off of condition, any number of things. The market's constantly fluctuating.
Sure.
Ashton, the way Ashton and I do things, I meet, I shake hands, I introduce the company, what we do. Ashton provides the comparative market analysis. That way she has our facts. We demonstrate to them.
So you're more the client facing, and you're a little more behind the
We're
scenes.
the yin and yang. He's the extrovert. I'm the introvert.
Yeah.
I'm behind the computer. He's talking to the clients.
Yep. and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love talking to people.
Yeah. Well, and it works really well.
Yeah.
I mean, to have both sides of that. That's awesome. So who would be, or what situation would be like a prime client for you guys for an auction, for an estate auction? And maybe who wouldn't be?
Oh, man.
Whatever's easiest
I
to
would
answer.
say anyone is capable of having an auction. It doesn't have to be an estate sale. We've done downsizing sales where somebody just wants to downsize their house. A situation, for example, like they're getting a little older and they want to move to something a little bit more easier for them to live in, like a single story as opposed to a 2-story, or just like a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like an older community.
Oh, like a retirement.
Like a retirement community, something like that. We've also dealt with people who are just they want to try the auction method. They want to see how the bidding process works and what it can generate for their property. But any property is good for an auction. I think what it boils down to is the client good for an auction?
Yeah.
Are their expectations reasonable? Do we think we can achieve whatever number they have in mind for their head?
And I think a lot of times too, we do a lot of estates where mom or dad maybe passed away, and obviously those are really good clients who have, their house they need to sell along with the contents inside. So we are kind of a one-stop shop, turnkey. We can take the contents in the house, catalog it, sell that at auction online, and as well as the house.
So it's kind of a one-stop shop, because I know that is like, I would imagine, such an overwhelming process to have this house full of stuff. And it's not that I'm just not a very sentimental person because I'm weird, but like I don't necessarily want to. You don't want to keep all the stuff. So.
Knowing is half the battle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Mom, I'm like cleaning stuff out, and my parents all the time. I'm like, y'all are not leaving me with any of this crap.
It is the amount of things we've seen in houses, and I have seen houses that are packed to the gills.
Oof.
With
That gives me claustrophobia.
And see, I don't do the estate side of things, the cataloging, because when I see that, I get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I can't see in my head how I can organize this. So, Lewis has his team, and we have other teams that do personal property things.
Yeah.
And they can just go in there and just turn it around, and then they're finished, and I'm like, we need to take pictures for the real estate. And I'm like, this looks great. It's like organized. There's tables with things.
So you guys do all of that?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So,
Wow.
like for example, this particular property, we're just doing the contents of this home. I went into the house, and it wasn't disorganized by any stretch of the imagination. But what my goal is with my team is we go in, and our goal is to find the valuable items. They need to be highlighted. And for the your pots and pans and whatnot, you make what I wouldn't call it a bulk lot, but you basically create lots per item. So it's not like everything's going to have a tag on it. So it's going to be like this plate has a tag, that plate has a tag. No, you might sell a set of plates.
Well, in our sorry to interrupt. I was just going to add. So with our personal property, we don't always catalog like this water bottle and this cup. We make sure that we have a threshold that we try to meet for each lot. So like things you might group together that you feel like would go together and say, okay, I feel like it would meet the threshold of X amount of dollars. Huh. So if we do try to do that, is that correct?
Things that are like related, like kitchen items.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
thank you. That's a great way to put it. Obviously, like a higher dollar item is going to be by itself. Furniture is going to be by itself. A vehicle by itself, a mower.
Yeah.
But then again, like like kitchens, like you just said, kitchen items. That's a great example because you have a house that's so full. And some folks would come in and just say, let's just trash everything. And our method is let's sell it.
Yeah.
Get something for it. And
something's better than nothing.
Exactly. And then the house is clean, open for showings. And that way someone can come into that house and look around and say, I have a vision for what this property will be for me. Yeah. Because it's not full of stuff that I have to look behind.
Yeah, you can't do that when it's full of stuff.
And also to add into, while we do benefit auctions and Lewis does the bid calling, so we primarily are online. Okay. So our bids are people will bid on our website.
So do you do in person?
So sometimes
estate auctions?
Sometimes we will do not estate. Typically we will we could do simulcast auctions for real estate, which means that we will be accepting bids on our platform. But Lewis is also on the front porch calling bids, and we have a couple people there bidding. So that's a method that we can do, but primarily people are bidding on their cell phone or on the internet, and our web address or URL is readytobid.com.
The number 2 or
the number
T-O?
2.
Number 2.
Readytobid.com. So that's where they'll go to look at our catalogs
and see what auctions are coming up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do the auctions? This is probably a silly question, but how long do they last? Like, does something last for a few days, or is it like a few hours and then it's done?
So for personal property, we typically will market. So we have a marketing budget. So we will take that marketing money and we will do all of our online advertising through social media platforms, Google, and that's how we get a bulk of our bidders. And we also have a lot of traffic to our website. So those personal property auctions will be around 2 to 3 weeks. So we will market it and accept bids for 2 to 3 weeks with a preview or two where people can actually come and take a look at the items.
Like in real life.
In real life. So our staff is there to monitor, make sure nothing's being moved around or anything. And then for real estate, we market for 30 days typically. Okay. So we'll have 30 days where people can do inspections, take a look at the property. Brokers can show the properties. We'll have 2 open houses for people to come in and look around as well.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It also at the end, and this is for real estate and personal property, most of our real estate and personal property auctions will end at 6 p.m. on typically Tuesdays or Thursdays. And at 6 p.m., we have what's called a soft close. Now, what that means is you can place bids on an item from the moment we put it online to the moment it ends. At 6 o'clock, that timer is going to start to tick, 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 tick down to 0. If somebody bids on a specific item, it will extend that item by about 2 minutes to allow the other party a chance to respond. Oh. So once that clock expires, then that item is sold. Okay. Same thing with real estate. You would be amazed, especially for real estate. I've seen properties that are, for example, I'll use this one. We sold a property in Cary. The number was sitting at 600,000, and it was just sitting there like that all day. And right around 5:55, it was jumped to, I think, what was it, 890?
Where it ended?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Everyone, it's a strategy. They wait till the last second.
They think it's eBay.
Yeah.
So they think like right at 6, like, all right, it's over.
But it's not.
And that's
wow.
the thing, and that's the same for personal property. I've seen items absolutely just skyrocket. Yeah. And I've had to tell sellers, especially with real estate, they get a little antsy on the last day. I get it. They're like, it's not really moving. And that's where our comps come in. Like, no, we got our right number of registration.
What if it? I mean, I guess this is obviously in the fine print, and they sign a contract, but like, so it just goes for what it goes for.
So
Like,
there's
what if it's not what you
Right. There's
hoped?
different methods to sell. So
Yeah.
we can sell subject to seller confirmation. So that means that when the auction's over, if they're not satisfied or we didn't meet, where the comps
They can say
are,
no.
they can just say, I'm going to reject it, I'll counter it, or I'll accept it.
Okay.
So there's also selling with reserve. So if we have a written reserve between our firm and the seller, then if we meet or exceed that reserve, then the property will sell.
Okay.
And then there's the absolute auction method, which is like the wild, wild west of auctions. So that's selling regardless of price.
Wow.
So it will just, when the auction's over, it's sold.
High risk, but very high reward.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
typically that you'll see a spike in registration.
Do
when that
people
happens.
choose that method?
Sometimes.
It depends on the client.
Yeah.
I had one recently that we sold on South Peace Haven Road. And I had a partner who I was working with, and he, met with them, and he said, these are great candidates for an absolute auction. And, those make me nervous because it's going to sell, whether it's for $50,000 or $500,000. And, but it was unbelievable. We had about 50 registrations, which we typically have 25 registrations for real estate. We had 50 registrations. I probably walked through that house 50 groups of people, 50, like 100 people.
Wow.
Like if there's family,
Yeah.
a couple, family members. But I mean, it was insane, and it was the sellers were pleased. We were thrilled how well it did.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, my last question before we wrap things up is, I know that like the last few years, thrifting and like people are really into going to estate sales and getting, not necessarily buying new furniture, but finding these loved items that are at these estate sales. So do y'all, if people are interested in that kind of thing, do you promote on your website, like when you do have in-person previews, and then like, I guess the consignment sales that are at your office, where can they learn more about that kind of thing?
Well, first off, they go to ready2bid.com. That's ready, the number 2bid.com, not TWO. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. We will, for the Swicegood Group Instagram, Ashton, that is, and I'll give you our personal one too, because we post a lot on our individual stories. So there's the Swicegood Auctions, SWICEGOOD Auctions, Instagram page, the Swicegood Group Incorporated. Also, you can download our bidding app. If you go to your app store on your iPhone, you go to the app store, you type in Swicegood Auctions, SWICEGOOD Auctions. You'll be able to download our bidding app. The bidding app is free. Obviously, if you win things, that part is not free, but the bidding app is free.
What?
I know, right? And registration is super easy. You put in a email password, and then boom, you're registered for whichever particular auction you want to bid on, whether that's real estate, whether that's cars, whether that's consignment, or any number of our estate auctions. It's just there's plenty of options for different types of bidders.
Yeah.
And getting into the holidays, we have plenty of either consignment auctions or estate auctions where if you're looking for some unique items to purchase for family members, I would take a look and browse our catalog.
What hours are the consignment like showroom areas open?
So we typically will have staff on site from around 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, like every
Monday
day?
through Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that's in downtown Moxville.
In downtown Moxville,
Okay.
yes.
And we'll have designated preview days where we'll have, for example, consignment previews. I actually have a preview this evening. If anyone's interested, it's for a workshop auction that will be on our website from 4 to 6 p.m. this evening. Tons of tools and whatnot and collectibles. But we will have designated preview days for consignment and for our estates and for our real estate auctions. That will be on our website.
Very cool. So how else can we get in touch with you to put in our show notes?
Well, if you want to follow us on Instagram, my handle is Ashton, ASHTON, S as in Sam, Burton, BURTON, and that's where you'll see my post for any work related things or personal if you want to see my kids. But yeah.
For me, it's Swicegood, SWICEGOOD, 007. That's my personal page. That's where I do most of my posting. I tried another page. I just got tired of managing too. So that's my main page. So you'll see me post auction related things as well as whatever it is I'm doing in the community. We love supporting local businesses. I'm a huge, obviously, love Washington Park CrossFit. It's where I work out. I'll probably be there in 30 minutes. Yeah, we, as far as she mentioned Swicegood Group, but yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome.
Well, we constantly post advertisements for multiple auctions coming up.
That's awesome. Okay, Lewis, can you close us out with a bid chant?
Oh.
All right.
No pressure.
Not at all. Okay, let's see. Ed bid about on 5,000. He would have bid 5,000. Now six would have bid $6,000 bid about on 6,000. A 6,000. He might have bid $6,000. 6,000 now 7 would have bid $7,000 bid about on 7,000. How about 650? A 650. A $650,000 bid about on 650. There you go.
Love it.
I jumped high on them numbers.
There you go.
Thank y'all so much. It was a pleasure to chat with y'all and learn a little bit about the Swicegood Group. And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags on social media at Forsyth Mags and online forsythmags.com. And you can pick up, of course, a physical copy of the magazine at all of your local grocery stores, boutiques, salons, all the things. And that's it. That's a wrap for today. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Ooh, that's a mouthful.